Welcome to this week's Friday 5 in 5. This week I'm going to be talking about something which a lot of us may be feeling at this time of year, and that's lack of motivation or burnout. So hi and welcome to this week's Friday 5 in 5. Hope you guys are doing well. I am feeling much better than I did last week, which wasn't a nice experience, let me tell you. Intestinal infections, not good. But I am back to pretty much normal now, feeling good. So yeah, that's good news. This week I'm going to recommend a couple of Facebook pages. I appreciate that I didn't recommend anybody last week. I wasn't really feeling very well, but I'm sure you guys have already heard of both of these pages, but if you haven't, then I encourage you to go check them out if you're on Facebook. One of them is called Landscape Photography on YouTube UK, and the other one is called UTOGs. The descriptions, the links will be in the description below. I recommend you check them both out. They're really good. They're run by some really good guys. Excellent community spirit there. You can just go on there, chat about anything photography related. Got any queries, want to post in UTOGs if you want to post a picture, if you want to go chat to vloggers, whatever. They're both very good pages, so I recommend them. So the subject of this week's Friday 5 in 5 is burnout or loss of motivation, and it's something I think that happens to a lot of people, especially around this time of year. I generally tend to have this sort of issue back in late autumn, so sort of November time coming into December, and by now I'm usually feeling quite motivated because I can kind of feel the nights are pulling out, spring's on its way a little bit. But I do know that January can be a difficult time for some people. It's that sort of New Year feelings. So let's talk about 5 ways that you can deal with burnout or loss of mojo or loss of motivation. So let's get the clock up there and let's get started. Just a little caveat before I start, I just want to say that I'm talking about this in terms of a hobby. I'm not talking about it in terms of work. I appreciate the fact that, you know, if you've got to do it as your job, then there's not really a lot you can do, even if you're suffering from burnout. So just to say, I'm talking about this in terms of a hobby. So number 1 is just accept it. So everybody suffers from burnout or lack of motivation to some point, and actually it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. The whole point of you saying, oh, I've got a lack of motivation or I'm feeling a bit of burnout, is because you love or you really enjoy the subject or the hobby that you are suffering the burnout with. So that can only be a positive thing, really, the fact that you actually have a hobby that you enjoy that much. There's always dips and peaks and troughs in everything that you do. So I think that you have to just accept the fact that from time to time you're not going to feel as enthused about doing things as you know you once did. If you think about it, if you didn't really care about it, you wouldn't call it burnout. You'd just say, I don't fancy doing that anymore, so I'm going to stop. In some ways, accept burnout and kind of embrace it a little bit, to say that actually it's something that is a good thing because it shows how much you love photography, if that makes sense. I think that makes sense. Number 2 is don't force it. If you're not feeling it, it impacts in a load of different ways. I've been through this before, but if you're not feeling it, then you're not going to produce your best work. If you're just going out and going through the motions, it can make you unhappy. It can make you feel miserable and down, and why aren't I enjoying it, and why aren't I getting the results I was getting before, and why can't I just snap out of this? So sometimes the best thing to do is just put down your camera, just stop for a while, do something else, think of something else, or just don't think about it. Just put it all away and just say, right, for however long it is, I'm just going to stop thinking about this. And do you know what tends to happen is you tend to get that itch again at some point, and you want to go out and you want to take photos again, or pick up the video camera again, or pick up the paintbrush again, or whatever it is.
Find that device or contact name. To add your contacts, first register in the Alexa app.
Pretty sure I didn't just turn Alexa on. Number 3 is to force it. That sounds a bit perverse, saying don't force it and then force it, but what I'm getting at here is I'm trying to say that if you're not enjoying it, drop it, leave it alone, don't do anything. But then if it doesn't come back after a while, then maybe you need to just give yourself a little kick up the bum and say, right, okay, you know what, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna give it a go, and I'm gonna see if I can get the juices flowing again. And often you find that that little push, if you have stopped and that natural itch hasn't come back to say, oh, I need to go out, I need to go out. If you just say, do you know what, I'm just gonna force myself to go out, something will just click and you'll be right back into it again, and you'll find that, you know, you've rediscovered your love. So at first, don't force it, but if that doesn't work, then maybe give it a little push in the right direction. Number 4 is go back to basics. So if you do find that you have to force it, if you do find that you have to give yourself a little nudge in the right direction, just go back to somewhere you've been before. Go and start small. Take a photo of something that you feel comfortable with, that you've had success at before. Go to the places where you feel, where you've had happy memories of what you've done, you know. So like, for instance, when I wasn't feeling it, I went out, I pushed myself to go out, and I went out just to a local wood and took some pictures of some bluebells, and it happened to be bluebell season. Obviously don't do that now because you won't find any, but I went out and just took some pictures of some bluebells, and I found that really, just that simple, didn't take my tripod with me, just went for a little wander in the woods, just took in the fresh air and just the lovely sort of sun on my back, and went for a little stroll, and then came out of that, and when I got home just went, oh my God, I've got some really nice pictures here, and sort of brought back that motivation that I'd lost before, and then I was off and running again. So just keep it simple, do what you know, don't try to put too much pressure on yourself, just go to somewhere you've had success before. And number 5, let's go with this one. And number 5 is, don't be afraid to share how you're feeling with other people. So whether it's a family member or a friend or a colleague or someone a like-minded friend from a community, just go and talk to them about it and just say, do you know what, I'm just really not feeling it at the moment. And oftentimes they'll talk to you and they'll say, oh, do you know what, I had exactly the same problem, I was feeling the same way, and have you thought about this? And and sometimes just that little bit of support, that little bit of empathy and understanding can sort of really re-motivate you and just push you in the right direction. I really recommend speaking to someone, just sharing how you're feeling and just talking it through with someone who understands, who can give you a little bit of empathy, and that can be a really fantastic boost and just give you that little push in the right direction. So that's it. I hope you've enjoyed it this week. I know this time of year can be difficult for people, and of course, do you know what? If you're feeling like you're burnt out or you've lost your mojo, no motivation, and you want someone to talk to, then why not, send me a message, drop me a line. I'm on Facebook or Instagram, or stick it in the comments here, or email me through my website, whatever, and we can have a chat, because I'm more than happy to talk to anybody. Can't guarantee that I'll help, but I'll do my best. So anyway, I really hope you've enjoyed it. As I said, check out those 2 Facebook pages, Landscape Photography on YouTube UK and UTOGS. There are also lots of other great pages about, but those 2 are very good. I would thoroughly recommend you checking them out if you haven't already, which I strongly suspect you probably have. And until next week, I'll see you again really soon. That didn't quite work, did it? Until next week, I'll see you again really soon. Let's rephrase that. And I will see you again soon.